Florian Wartz, Mohamed Salah, Cody Gakpo, Hugo Ekitike, Rayo Nomoha, and Alexander Isak. Liverpool has assembled a formidable attacking lineup for the upcoming season, folks, but will it really work out? How exactly will all these players fit together? Can Liverpool reclaim the Premier League title, or will they once again fall short in the Champions League? We'll dive into these questions and more in today's video. Plus, we'll explore the one major issue at Liverpool that everyone is overlooking. So stick around for that. This transfer window has been pretty eventful for Liverpool, folks. If we take a look back, just last season, the team's only addition was the unfortunate Federico Chiesa. Yes, I know they signed Mamardashvili, but he's really just here for this season. Chiesa ended up spending more time on the bench playing board games than on the pitch. After winning the Premier League and facing an early Champions League exit, not to mention the Carabao Cup final, the squad definitely needed reinforcements. And boy, have they done so, especially up front. Florian Wartz is a fantastic signing, arguably one of the best German players right now, alongside the likes of Musiala and Timo Werner. His record-breaking price tag is a clear testament to his quality. In preseason, every time he touched the ball, you could feel something special. His ball control was nothing short of poetry. But it's not just about the control, it's his vision and ability to create chances. In that match against Milan, he delivered some brilliant passes into space, though his teammates often didn't capitalize on them. He also had great link-up play with Salah, and against the Japanese side, he was an absolute beast. In preseason, Wartz hasn't been played out of position, which is great. He's been in a role almost identical to what he had at Bayer Leverkusen, always just behind the attacking line, linking the midfield with the forwards and wingers. He hasn't played as a winger or central midfielder, which I think is fantastic. Wartz is looking like he could be a massive hit. Let's not forget Salah, of course. Coming off one of his best ever seasons at 33 years old, he's been instrumental in Liverpool's attack. He signed a new contract, so we'll be seeing more of him for at least another year. He's shown no signs of slowing down, which is huge. Last season, Salah wasn't just the top scorer. His tactical importance and what he brought to Liverpool's offensive setup were vital in winning the Premier League. But here's the thing. This year, there's the Africa Cup of Nations. That means Salah will be missing for a while and the offensive burden will shift to other players. Players like Florian Wartz and Cody Gakpo, for instance. Now, Gakpo may not stand out as a huge signing for everyone, and honestly, I was in that group too. Sometimes he seems like a just okay player. But looking at his stats, goals and assists, he was actually Liverpool's second best offensive player after Salah. That's a pretty solid season, right? And his preseason? Excellent, folks. Take a look at the game against Athletic Club Bilbao, where he worked really well in attack with Hugo Ekitike. Hugo Ekitike is a player worth discussing. The guy cost a fortune, almost 100 million euros. But while his stats aren't bad, they're not mind-blowing either. Still, he's shown potential. He's probably the least proven of the new signings. After a forgettable stint at PSG, he had a bit of a resurgence at Frankfurt. Despite standing at 1.90 meters, he's far from clumsy on the ball, which is impressive. Ekitike is certainly a dynamic player. Watching him with Frankfurt, you can see how he's constantly moving across the flanks. Not only that, but his ability to drop deep and help build play for midfield is impressive. He's not a striker like Haaland who barely touches the ball. No, Ekitike is always involved. His movement between the central attacking role and left wing makes him a perfect complement to Gakpo. At times, Gakpo can move centrally, and Ekitike drifts wide on the left. It reminds me of the interplay we saw last season between Gakpo and Luis Diaz, who is now with Bayern. Now, the real question is, how does Alexander Isak fit into this setup? Isak is an efficient striker and one of the Premier League's top scorers last season. His transfer value is sky high, and it's clear that Newcastle doesn't want to let him go. However, Isak himself seems eager to leave, aiming to play in the beautiful stadium of Liverpool and wear that iconic jersey. It's hard to say no to that. As a natural number 9, Isak would likely fill the central striker role. It wouldn't make sense to spend over 150 million euros on a player and not play him in his preferred position, right? So, this means one of the players I mentioned earlier, likely Gakpo or Ekitike, might find themselves on the bench. If Slot opts to play both of the new signings in the starting 11, he might go for a 4-2-2-2 formation, with the new guys, Wirtz and Isak, up top, Salah on the right, and maybe Gakpo or Ekitike shifting out to the left. Although Isak's signing isn't confirmed yet, it could make sense given Liverpool's need for a traditional number 9 after Darwin Núñez has moved to the Saudi League. At this point, Liverpool really needs that kind of player.
It's interesting to note that Newcastle had been eyeing Benjamin Sesko to replace Isak, but Manchester United swooped in. The same situation occurred with Hugo Ekitike. Newcastle was interested in him, but Liverpool snatched him up. Imagine if Liverpool not only gets their hands on Ekitike, but also grabs Isak, their main rival's top player. That would be quite the move.
And we can't overlook Rio Numaha. What a player this kid is. Arsenal fans are raving about Max Dowman, but I'm all about Rio. At just 16 years old, he was easily the standout in Liverpool's preseason. If he keeps playing at that level, there's a real chance he could break into the first team. They'll need to ease him in. He's got a ton of potential. Moving on to Liverpool's midfield, things have shifted a bit. With Wirtz now in the picture, the trio of Szoboszlai, McAllister, and Gravenbergs from last season is no more. In preseason, Arne Slot seemed to favor McAllister, who played most of the time alongside Gravenberch and Wirtz. Given how important Gravenberch became last season, I think it'll be a battle between McAllister and the Dutchman for a starting spot. Personally, I think McAllister gives Liverpool's midfield a bit more balance, but time will tell. As for Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott, their roles will likely diminish. Elliott, in particular, is rumored to be leaving Liverpool after the summer fiasco with England. While it would be a shame to see him go, his playing time is likely to be much more limited now. Defensively, Liverpool has mostly been under the radar, but here's the issue I see right now. Yes, the fullback positions have been strengthened, but the central defense is a major concern. With Konate entering the final year of his contract and Virgil van Dijk aging, even though he's one of the best defenders ever, Liverpool's only other central options are Joe Gomez, who's just returned from a long injury, and Reece Williams. This is a real problem for Liverpool, especially considering the competition they'll face this season. In preseason, they tried Endo and even Robertson in central roles, but it didn't quite work out. We all remember the issues they had back in 2020 when Virgil was injured by Pickford, and it disrupted their entire season. They even had to bring in Ozan Kabak, which, let's be honest, was a disaster. That was a clear indication that they should have reinforced their defense earlier, and now that same issue is creeping up again. On the positive side, Liverpool's goalkeeper situation is solid. With Alisson and Mamardashvili, both international-level keepers, they're well covered between the sticks. Mamardashvili is seen as the future number 1, and even Alisson knows that. Looking ahead, Liverpool's future ambitions are high. There are some tough teams out there. Arsenal seems to have filled the gaps they were missing last season, and it's going to be an exciting race for the title. Liverpool is undoubtedly a contender this season, but with the fierce competition they face, including a rejuvenated Chelsea coming off their Club World Cup win, nothing should be taken for granted. The team has a point to prove in the Champions League after last year's disappointing campaign. In short, Liverpool has a shot at everything this year, and it will be fascinating to see what Arne Slot's project is really made of. Now, I want to hear from you all. Do you think Liverpool can clinch another Premier League title? How do you feel about the squad they've put together? Which signing excites you the most? Do you think the defense still needs reinforcement? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this one.